Okay, let's see here. Alrighty, guys. Good morning. It is Dave Santarelli from BreakingChartAlerts.com and Santarelli Trading Exchange. Hope everyone had a really great weekend. There's a lot of stuff going on here in the market this week. Wanted to get started here with going over some of the top news and everything that's going on here. So I'm going to bring some of this stuff up for you guys too. All right, guys. So first thing off, here is the top earnings for the week here. As you guys can see, we have AMC coming up here after the bell today. Nothing else really that's too major, but we got AMC, we got Chegg, we got Smile Direct. Tuesday, it's a pretty slow day. We got Coinbase after market hours there. And Wednesday coming up, we got Wix, we got Wendy's. I was thinking about doing a Wendy's trade. The fast food is doing really well. Let's see here. We got Neo, we got Clover, we got eBay coming up Wednesday after the bell here. Bumble, Blink Charging. And then Thursday, we got Baidu, we got Palantir, so we got a lot of big names coming up again this week. After this week, it's going to die down a little bit. Hold on one sec. Let me.
Continuing lower here after the open, down around 3%.
And then as you guys can see on Thursday there, we got Wish, we got Airbnb, we got Sophie coming up there. We have a trade on Sophie right now that's doing fine. And then Friday, we got Embraer. If you guys remember that one, that one's been taking a nice climb here. So got a lot of earnings coming up there that we need to keep an eye on, see what's going on with. And then let's take a look here. I wanted to share with you guys some other events that are happening. Here's some of the top news here today. As you guys can see, the Delta variant supply chain chaos is threatening to derail big back-to-school season. The world's top epidemiologist says that, COVID is just going to continue to get worse here. The world is nowhere near the end of the pandemic. Market is down slightly, down about 138. NASDAQ's down about 15 points. Jefferies upgraded Tesla, predicts shares to rally 22%. Top market movers, as you guys could see here: Sanderson Farms, U.S. Foods, Tyson Foods. And like I said, the big thing that's trending all over the news here is the world is nowhere near the end of the pandemic, says a few epidemiologists. Norwegian Cruise Lines, a federal judge ruled that the cruise line can ask passengers for proof of COVID-19 vaccines, temporarily blocking a Florida law banning that practice. Berkshire Hathaway shares rose 1.2% in pre-market trading after it reported a 7% increase in second quarter earnings. Berkshire results were helped by a rebound across the businesses, including its railroad and energy companies. There's just what's going on with Tesla and Tyson Foods there. And then let's go over the top economic events here going on this week, guys. Like I said, it's big. Monday, 10 a.m. coming out, job openings. So, obviously, previously it was 9.2 million job openings. They're expecting a reduction. Median forecast is 9.1 million job openings. That's going to be on Monday. Tuesday, not too much info I'm worried about. Wednesday and Thursday are going to be big days. We got the consumer price index, which is inflation, coming out at 8:30. We got core CPI coming out at 8:30. And obviously, you guys can see previously it was 0.9. They're predicting 0.5 and 0.4 respectively there, which is a big drop. And I honestly don't think we're going to see that. That's why I really think we're going to remain volatile this week. And we have to be cautious and sit back and watch for some good opportunities. And then Thursday, as you guys could see, initial jobless claims are coming out. And then we have continued claims as well at 8:30. They're expecting a medium forecast of the initial jobless claims of about, what is that, 380,000. So, that's a big difference right there. Here is the top market movers here. If you guys would just want to take a look at that, there's the top gainers, the top losers there for the morning. Top upgrades, downgrades. I wanted to go over this because there's a couple of things I wanted to put on the watch list here to watch this week here. We got Caesars that was upgraded, AMD and Tesla. They were upgraded, market performed buy, and, basically Jefferies, Bank of America Securities, BMO Capital upgrades there. Nothing too major that we didn't talk about before. The downgrades, we got Darden Restaurants, Dollar Tree, Wynn Resorts. They're all downgraded in neutral or hold. Now, here's the one that I liked I was talking to you guys about last time. So if you guys remember on Friday, we went over Switch, we went over Marathon Oil, and we went over Victoria's Secret. They were the top initiations, price target changes. Look at right here. You have F45 Training Holdings here. That's 4 initiations here by some big names. Guggenheim, JP Morgan. We got, what else here? Cohen and Company. And you can see that they upgraded it from buy, neutral, outperform with price targets ranging from $15 to $25. So FXLV, I'm writing that one down here. And we're going to take a look at that one here coming up. Here is the top price changes here for the day, and these are notable ones. Tesla, they increased the price target from $700 to $850. As you guys can see, Carvana, the price target raised from $326 to $470. GM, it was pulled back a little bit there. They cut the price target from $68 down to $53. And then AMD, BMO boosted the price target on advanced micro devices from $80 to $110. It's already above that. So, that's nothing new there. All right. Last thing here, guys, top performing sectors. This is for the past week. So this is what we want to be looking at this week. We got financial, we got utilities, technology, services, healthcare, consumer discretionary, conglomerates, and retail. Those are the top, 8 performing sectors here of the economy. So we're going to be looking at that. We're going to change that to a day later on here and take a look at those. So that's pretty much going to do it for that. Now let me just show you guys what's going on here. Alrighty, so here is Draftkings. That had some big news that came out. I don't know if you guys heard about the Draftkings news. Draftkings to acquire Golden Nugget Online. And it's also mentioned as one of the top 5 stocks to watch for Monday. So we could definitely put that on the watch list there as well. But, it had that big pop. It pulled back a bit. So really not too much going on here. Let's take a look at Ford. We got an August 13th expo on Ford. We made a little trade on there last week. Ford's pulling back slightly. It's only down 11 cents right now on the day here. Coming back a bit here. We'll see if that continues that climb throughout the day. Only down 10 cents now on the day. It's Monday, so we give the markets a little bit here. All right, let's take a look at FCX, some of our trades that we're in. FCX is starting to get a climb here off the lows this morning. Still pretty early, only about 9.49. Take a look at that 3-month daily. Still holding above 35, above the 20. It's just consolidating between that blue 20-day and the red 50-day simple moving average. Once we could get a candle above that 37.50, we already have our signs of breakout momentum. We got the 10-20 crossover. We got the MACD crossover. Bar is trading above zero line on the histogram of the MACD. This is something we want to keep an eye on and make sure it's not pulling back below that blue 20-day simple moving average. We want to look for it to break that 37.50, and we can add to that. And remember, that's one that we got plenty of time for. It's the September 17th Expo. We have the 38 strike call. It's $1.86 away from that area right now. And, as you guys can see, it was just well above that, just a short few days ago. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then now let's take a look at PayPal. PayPal, we have the August 20th 280 strike. Still looking pretty good there. It's getting right up to that R1 resistance 1 at 280. Once we can break that 280, we're going to be looking for that 290 pretty quick. August 20th Expo, that's not going to be this week. It's going to be next week. So we still got 10 days, 10 trading days for that to move. You see what it did in 3 trading days going from 270 to 280. That was just 3 trading days there. So we get a boost in the market. If we get some good consumer price index numbers, inflation numbers coming out this week, I'm sure that's going to propel the markets, and vice versa. If they're not, we're going to see a pullback. So we're going to trade lightly until, probably Wednesday. We can look for some day trades or some safer haven stocks here to be trading this week until we get that consumer price index. Inflation is number one key this week. That, and of course, the job numbers and the continued claims. So PayPal's still looking good. That was a hook pattern we were talking about here. If you guys take a look with PayPal, we had the top right here. We had the big drop from 310 all the way down to base support of 270. So that is base. So we got base support at 270. Now what we're going to be looking for and targeting is that next resistance, which is going to be that 290. Okay, and let me just get rid of that because that's... Okay, so now what we're looking for here with PayPal, like I said, that continued hook. So we got the top, we got the drop, and now we're starting to get that hook. And what we want to do is see that hook get up to that 290. This is a hook pattern on PayPal that we got into, and that's what we're looking for as far as PayPal's concerned. It's still trading side by side. I'm sure it's probably going to be staying like that until we hear some of these numbers coming out. So keep an eye on PayPal. Next one, Sophie. We got about a 30% gain overall on Sophie right now. Still looking good. This one, let's just zoom in a little bit longer. There's the trade we ended up getting. The Sophie August 27, 16 strike. We paid $1.38 for it. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more here, and I'm going to show you guys what's going on. I'm going to be going over that in a second, Josh. Give me time. 10, 20-day simple moving average crossover. We got the MACD. We got a lot of green bars above the zero line on the histogram of the MACD over here. And that one's just starting that breakout momentum. I'm going to be looking at least $18. That's where I want to take some profits at as far as Sophie's concerned. So that one's still looking good. And like I said, if you take a look at the earnings calendar there, let me just bring that up quick. If we take a look and I bring that up, if we go back, you guys could see Sophie earnings are coming up right there on Thursday after the bell. So that's what we're going to be looking at as far as Sophie is concerned. That chart's looking pretty good. Now let's continue to go down the list here. Let's take a look at Apple. We have an Apple October 15th 150 strike. Apple's starting to get a little pop there. We're up $200 on Apple, today. And that's just with that small little pop there, 43 cents. As long as it's holding that 145, I'm fine with holding an Apple. It's still been consolidating, not doing too much. I'm waiting really for that breakout with that body above that 147.50. Probably about 145 would be my stop on Apple.
WKHS, Workforce, Early, Georgetown Motors invested. Workforce Group sold 72% of its stake in Georgetown, according to a filing.
So that's one thing right there with Apple. We got a little pop on that. Let's take a look at Baidu. Baidu's got earnings coming up at the end of the month. Baidu's starting to get a nice pop here, guys. Remember, what do we have on Baidu? The August 20th. So, we're looking for that climb there on Baidu. It flattened out. It's got its first, let me zoom in a little bit here more so you can see this. We got our crossover on the MACD. First green bar above zero line on the histogram of the MACD. It flattened out here really nicely, which is great. It really hasn't traded above this 10-day simple moving average, for quite some time. It failed at it the entire time. It flattened out now instead of, having that breakdown, getting up to that 10, breaking down, getting up to that 10, breaking down, getting up to that 10. And now, as you guys can see, we are just consolidating right there. And I'm really looking for that breakout above that 270, or I'm sorry, that 170. If we break above that 170, get a green candle like that, we are off to the races. And obviously, you guys see what Amazon's done in the past. So, this one here, I think we could see a nice pop if we get some good earnings from Baidu. But they are expecting GDP to drop in China here because they are struggling with the COVID variant as well, the Delta variant. All righty, now let's go over our next one, CCL. CCL pulled back from that 23. It finally broke that 23. Obviously, you guys know why that's pulling back today. The Delta, they're saying that there are no ICU beds, across some of these states here. So, that's going to really trigger some of these reopening stocks to pull back a little bit here. So, little pullback on CCL today, still holding above that 1020. You got that nice crossover the MACD. But like I said, this one, only thing you got to worry about with CCL here is that Delta cases continuing to climb, hospitalizations continuing to climb, and everything going on with that. Next one here is our CVX. CVX is getting a nice, that's CVS there, CVX pulling back from the highs there, 102 down to 100. If you guys remember, 100 is going to be our stop on CVX. CVX, we're down $500 on here today. Waiting, we got that ex-dividend date coming up here. And, if you guys saw, they did upgrade a lot of these oil companies here. Oil prices did drop. That's why you're seeing that little bit of a pullback. Also, with COVID fears continuing to climb, you guys remember what happened during COVID. Remember the gas prices dropped down to like $1 a gallon, when no one was really driving. There's a lot of restrictions, a lot of fear coming into the markets now, again, with this Delta variant. So, you're going to see that pull back a little bit here. We're going to keep an eye on that closely. What's really incredible is stocks like Airbnb is still on the climb here. 3-month daily chart on Airbnb. And just look at that stock right there, continuing to break out. And that's a huge breakout here from those lows coming down to 130. Now she's over 150 again. So, you got to see she's coming right up to resistance. Not doing too much right now, but it's still breaking out slowly. But I want to see it break that resistance. More specifically, break that 160, and then we could be looking at a much larger target of 170 to 180 if we wanted to jump into a trade like that. Disney's got earnings coming up soon. Pretty much just trading sideways, like I said last time, between that 172.50 and that 180. We're just waiting for earnings to come out on that. Disney, we have the August 20th. We have the 180 strike call. So we're only $4 away from ATM there. And now let's take a look at some of these market movers. Palantir's having a nice little move there. It's still consolidating, though, with Palantir. It's side by side, but it does have earnings coming up right here, this week. So that could give it a nice boost and get it back up to that 24 resistance to 25 R2. We'll keep an eye on that. Watching Apple over to the right. That's still hanging out pretty nice. Let me see what FedEx is still pulling back pretty heavily. We're not in a FedEx trade, but take a look at FedEx. FedEx is still in BDM there and continuing to pull down off that 10. I'm looking over here on the right on these market movers. Here are the most active stocks. Right below that is the largest percent stock gainers. Seeing if I see anything good on that or any type of different types of stock sectors coming up on here. Not seeing too much. You got the financials still continuing to climb, which, by the way, let's take a look at those. We were going to jump into a financial trade, and as you guys can see, they're still taking off there. There's Bank of America breaking above that $40. You know, you could easily be looking at that 42.50 as a target profit area on Bank of America if you wanted to do something a little bit further out, maybe going out like, 2-3 months out till Expo there. Wouldn't be too bad of an idea. Let's see what else we got going on here. Square's having a little move there, still climbing. We got TLT starting to break out again, holding that 147.50. We'll see if that could start breaking it above that 20 again. We could re-enter into a trade on that. Baidu's still climbing here in highs of the day. That is a nice breakout on Baidu. We'll keep an eye on that one there. Other than that, nothing really else moving here. I'm going to look at, let's see here. I'm going to take a look at the trade challenge account right now here because I got a different watch list and some scanners on here I like to take a look at. See what we got moving over here. Moderna's having another huge day, guys. Take a look at Moderna, mRNA. Moderna is getting another big pop there, almost at new all-time highs, 3-month daily. Stock's up $22 today, up over 5%. Having another large run there. They're talking about booster shots are going to be coming shortly here from Moderna and Pfizer. Fauci's expecting booster shots to be coming out within the next couple of weeks. That's why you're seeing some of these pharmaceutical companies continue to get a big climb. That would probably be Ray listening to Schwab. Let me just mute them all here. There we go. You guys shouldn't be able to hear anybody now. I wouldn't be picking up anything with Bitcoin yet. They're going to be, that's part of the infrastructure deal, guys. You guys remember they're passing that infrastructure deal, and the Democrats, as part of the infrastructure deal, they want to try to regulate cryptocurrency. So, until that settles there, I'd be waiting and seeing what happens with that this week because they're expecting that to pass this week. So we'll see what happens with that. Tesla's got a nice move here, a nice little pop after those analyst upgrades. If you take a look at Tesla, still not breaking above that 725 yet, but not looking too bad there. Like I said, right now you just got to sit back and watch the markets. I think that Sophie is going to do pretty well. Airbnb is still on the climb here, which is insane because if you take a look at Airbnb, here's Tesla. I needed to break above that 725. That's going to be resistance right there. So after that big upgrade and, analysts saying it's going to have a 22% climb from where it's at right now, 2% really isn't too much. But like I said, I really want to see a break above that 725 there to start really trading that again. That Sophie's still looking good. We're getting a nice climb on Sophie. Got about a 32% gain on Sophie here today. Starting to climb off those lows back here on the open. Palantir's still climbing. Look at Palantir on it today, 1 minute. Might jump into some Palantir calls here a little bit. And you know what? I think the Palantir calls are cheap enough that we could get those, Palantir, its earnings coming up this week, right? Let's take a look one more time here at that earnings calendar. I'm going to share this stuff with you guys in the trade room here so you guys could take a look at it. There is the economic calendar I posted in the trade room for you guys. Earnings calendar.
Not the same company that the Bloomberg headline is reporting on.
There's the top sectors there. There is the top upgrades, downgrades.
mRNA, Moderna press release now.
Moderna press release.
Australian Therapeutic Goods Administration ran provisional registration for Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine. That's Michael Romeo November Alpha.
Here are initiations. There's the top price target changes for this day. Starting off the week there, the market movers. So Palantir, as you guys could see there earlier when I just posted that in the trade room there, Palantir is coming up with earnings on, where was it here? Palantir earnings are coming up on Thursday. I really think that's going to continue to get a run here, going into earnings. So I definitely want to keep an eye on Palantir. You guys could see Palantir right here, Thursday before open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a small trade. And you know what? I think I'm going to make a trade challenge trade on Palantir here and look for that boost here. We haven't made a trade challenge trade in a while, so I'm going to make one here, small one in the trade challenge account, and get that started. I'm going to make them in both here. PLTR. Let's see. I'm going to go with that August 20th. I'm going to end up picking up the 23 strike. Okay, I am in at 98 cents in the trade challenge account. I'm going to post this. This is a trade challenge trade. It's a higher risk, but I'm looking to I'm probably going to take profits on this, before we have Thursday earnings, or at least lock in half. So let me get ready here. Send out this alert. Catalyst is going to be earnings on Thursday morning. Looking to take profits before earnings being reported Thursday. So let's take a look here and see what the implied move is here for Palantir. PLTR, let's see. Here is Palantir. Let me make that in the trade or in the main account here too. Didn't make that here yet. Palantir, August 20th. We'll pick up that 23 strike. We'll pick that up for about, she's going for 97 cents. Guys, 10 contracts is plenty. Don't need anything more there. And I am in Palantir at 97 cents in the main account. So now let me show you guys what we're going to be looking at as far as this is going. So we have the August 20th Expo here. So they're expecting about a 10.27% implied move. So with the stock at 2262 right now, 22.62 times that by 1.1027, that would bring the stock up to about 25 bucks. So, you know, that's not too bad there. If we have that 23 strike call, she gets up to 25. Those contracts would be worth about $2. We already got a 3% gain on that, those contracts there. So she gets up to about 25 bucks, which is the implied move there. We're going to have well over 100% gain there, you know, so that brings us up to about $25. So, you know, we could realistically target between $24 and $25. PLTR August 20th.
Bitcoin futures getting up a little while ago to the high of 46,405, now up about 3,300.
Let's see here. I want to try pulling this down a little bit there. There we go. Alrighty. So here is going to be our target. Our stop is going to be a candle below 22. And let's see, percentage wise, It's 1.7%. That's with the climb. We're already up 10% on that. It was about 1.3 when we jumped in, but it had a nice pop there. All righty.
CWK, Fishman and Wakefield. Says WeWork and Fishman and Wakefield form exclusive strategic partnerships to deliver innovative flexible space operating platform. That's CWK.
There is our target at 25. So that is our, let's see. Wow, we got a 15% gain on that trade already here. Okay, break even is obviously going to be the strike price 23 plus what we paid 0.98 in the main account, 0.97 in the 0.97 in the main account, 0.98 in the trade challenge account. We already have almost a 20% gain on that trade, and that's what's nuts. Hey, look at this. That was a small $1,000 trade. And remember, I told you guys, when there's higher risk, make these smaller trades here. You know, that Palantir, we're already up 15% on that, over 15%. And take a look. That small little it wasn't even $1,000 trade. It was a $970 trade. We're already up $150 on that with a 15% gain. And, you know, we didn't even really do anything yet. Still getting a nice climb there, though. So that's looking pretty good.
ABL Cavell Brands. Shares resuming trade now. KABL.
Okay, let's see. I don't see how you guys could have hot mics there. I blocked, it's blocked from, whatchamacallit there. It's blocked from you guys talking there on Zoom. All right, so let's get back to this now. Let's see here. So that is Palantir. That's what our target's going to be on Palantir. Our break even, like I said, is, let me just see.
PLNE, Clean Energy Fuels, August
All righty.
November Echo, PLNE. NUE, move forward, shares off the highs now at 107.17 to the high 108.63 earlier when it was mentioned as a IBD swing trader formation. That's November Uniform Echo.
Guys, we're already up 20% now in that Palantir trade. She's continuing to break out really nicely there. Let's start seeing some of these other stocks moving. Disney's the one that's killing me because I've got such a big trade on Disney going into earnings there. Got a 21% gain on the Palantir trade. Just wish I was a little bit bigger of a trade. The trade challenge trade is looking good with that trade right now. $18.96% return so far here. About a $185 gain on that small $970 trade. We got 10 contracts. Like I said, I don't want to be making large trades going into an event this week with so much information coming out. It's really important to trade small. You see the percentage of portfolio right here. Now it's at 1.83, obviously, because it's worth much more. We already have a 20% gain. So, you know, it was like 1.3% once we entered into that trade. But as we're breaking out and continue to see profits on that new trade here on Palantir, that obviously that percent of portfolio is going to increase in value as we get gains there. So that's a nice one right there on Palantir. I'm going to share that one with you guys in the trade room here as well. Let's see here. Everyone says they don't hear anyone besides me. Maybe it's you, Robert. You got something going on in the background? Sammy shot me a text this morning. He said, Dave, with everything going on this week, I'm going to sit back, watch you, and learn. And that's the best thing you could do in a week like this. You know, we got a lot of information coming out this week. So make sure, Sammy just said, yes, sir. Guys, it's so important because when you got a lot of information coming out, you have no idea what the hell the market's going to do. No one does. Warren Buffett doesn't. Jim Cramer doesn't. I don't know. You know, it all depends on consumer price index. I showed you guys this before. Let me bring it up one more time here on the screen because this is critically important. I can't stress this enough. The health of the economy is what's going to drive this market. You know, the health of the economy. So let me bring up my folder here and go over some of the stuff that I have because, you know, as you guys see, I'm making $900 trades. You know, that they're very small trades right now. Square is almost at the highs of the day. Skyjack, you in Square? So here is the, let's see here. Let me get rid of those drawings now so you guys don't see those. All righty. So, guys, this is what's big. 10 a.m. job openings. You know, it's 10:24 right now. Markets ended up getting a little pop. NASDAQ climbed. We were down about, 17 points on NASDAQ. We got a bounce. Dow was down a bit. A little bounce on the Dow. That's Monday. Next thing that's coming up, Tuesday is probably going to be a flat day. We might get a little pop there because there's not much going on. But right here is the most important thing of this week. It's consumer price index, core CPI. This is inflation. I'm a horrible drawer with a mouse. That's inflation, though. That's the inflation numbers. Guys, here's the median forecast. Here's the previous forecast, right? This is what scares me going into this week. And this is why I'm going to be trading smaller this week. Take a look at the previous numbers. 0.9% increase in consumer price index. Now they're expecting it to fall almost more than half. There's no way in hell that's going to drop more than half with everything we're seeing. Even who is it? Mohammed Algerian or whoever it was. He was talking about it on CNBC early this morning. I was watching him. He says he thinks it's going to be much higher than what the forecast is, what the government's expecting, and if the consumer price index or inflation is higher than expected, that means the consumer price goods are continuing to climb, meaning it's going to cost you more money when you go to the stores. That's not good for the economy there. And then Thursday, that's the big one right there. Initial jobless claims and continued jobless claims. Continued jobless claims are the people who are still collecting unemployment, and then as you guys can see here, initial jobless claims, that's going to be for the week of August 7th. For the period of August 7th, they're expecting 380,000. Previously, it was 385,000. So here's what I want you guys to get wrapped in the head here. So if CPI is higher than these numbers right here, if it's higher, the market's going to go down. If jobless claims are higher than 380,000, the markets are going to drop. Okay, so if it's higher, I'm sorry, my handwriting's horrible with this mouse. It's so sensitive. But if the jobless claims are higher than 380,000, markets are going to pull back. If CPI numbers are higher than what they're expecting, which is a huge drop from the previous report, then the markets are going to drop. Okay, so it's really important here to sit back, trade small. If you're making trades right now up until Wednesday, after Wednesday, if CPI numbers end up in line like 0.5, 0.4, or even lower, markets are going to get a big pop. But if not, we're going to pull back here. So if you want to make some smaller trades until Wednesday, I'm all for that. You're not going to be seeing me making some big trades or doing anything crazy until we see these numbers coming out right here. So that's what's really important. I want you guys to keep on your mind there, because that's going to be telling us everything we need to know there as far as what's going on with the economy. These are the major U.S. economic reports for the week right there. So make sure you guys keep that and understand how this is going to affect the market this week. We're starting to get another nice little climb here on Apple. Let me get this out of here. So that's looking pretty good. We got some nice gains on that. Let me see the trade challenge account here. All right, so we got that. Palantir there's looking good. There's what we're looking for. We got implied move of 10.27% from now until August 20th. Earnings are going to be Thursday morning. It's a higher risk trade, obviously, so it's a small trade. It's like 1.3% of the account. We got a target between 24 and 25 and a stop at 20, and we ended up getting into the Palantir August 20th, 23 strike call at 98 cents, and she's going for $1.12 right now. So we got about a 15% gain on that, about $130. We got Apple continuing to climb here as well. Take a look at Apple. Fubo TV, $40 call sweeps are coming in. There goes Apple, guys. Big break on an Apple there. Got a nice little run on Apple. My voice is so hoarse here. Sophie pulled back quite a bit from those highs there, but I still like that Sophie. That Apple is looking really good there. I really want to see that break that 147.50. If, like I said, if you take a look at the 3-month daily, we need to break that resistance at 147.50. If we could break above 147.50 on Apple, there's no doubt I think we're going to be hitting that 150 again really soon. And like I said, with our Apple trade, we have the October Expo because we wanted to go into another earnings season, and we also wanted to go into the release of the new iPhone. So that's going to be a catalyst. Usually you get a nice little pop there going in like about a month before that, before that comes out there. So we'll look to take profits once we break above 150 on Apple. But you have to understand, a lot of people, they struggle with the mentality and psychology of trading here. If you're down on the trade right now, it doesn't mean you're going to be down next week on the trade. Still consolidating. I mean, that Apple trade's only down 16% right now, because it's been pretty flat. So when it's flat like that, theta is just eating away at that option premium. So, we're waiting for that breakout above that 147.50, targeting that 150. And then we're going to be moving. Along there, and probably either adding to Apple or doing something like that once we break that 147.50. Why? Because we have a trade plan we follow. That trade plan is if we have longer than 30 days out till Expo and we break above that resistance area, which we have short-term resistance at 147.50. So that means since we have longer than 30 days out till Expo, if we do get a break above that 147.50, that's where I'm going to be adding to that trade. Why? Because we have longer than 30 days out till Expo, and we have a catalyst that could propel that stock much higher there. So that's going to be that. Square is looking pretty good here, guys. Take a look at Square. I'm zooming out a bit here. Square had a big run and had new highs just about 2 days ago. She looks like she's continuing that run. CCL is definitely picking up off the lows there. A lot of the markets are starting to turn green here. The watch list, I should say. NASDAQ's up almost 28 points right now. Palantir is still climbing up almost 5% now on Palantir. Back up 17% on the Palantir trade. And, let's see here. In the trade challenge account, we got $100 profit on those contracts there. That is a nice trade there in the trade challenge account already. All right, let's take a look now at some of these market movers, see if we can see anything. You guys have any questions, anything you want to go over? Let's see. Sammy says something here. Let me see. Can't see all the way over there. So says, what do you think about our Ford and Chevron trades that we have? I just went over that this morning, so I'd rather be finding some setups here. Chevron, once again here, our stop's going to be about $100. We'll see what that's at the end of the day there. We have an ex-dividend date coming out on Chevron. Let me pull that up here. CVX. So I'm going to pull that up for you guys right here. So here's the NASDAQ. This is where you could get the most reliable information. Chevron, we have an ex-dividend date of August 18th. Okay, so you have to be on the books owning that by the 17th there. So if you have it on the 17th, that's probably when we're going to see a pop on CVX. Probably the 15th, 16th, 17th. That's what I'm expecting. So, sometime, next week there, I'm expecting Chevron to get a nice climb, even maybe towards the end of this week. Here's the beautiful thing about Chevron. It pays a big dividend. The average S&P, it's 7 to 9%. Just alone for Chevron, it's paying you 5.2% in dividend payments alone. Guys, Palantir is really taking off. We got almost a 30% gain on Palantir. That's having a huge breakout. Take a look at what we are up here on the Palantir trade already. And that is having a nice run. We're up $220 on that Chevron trade already as she's continuing to break higher. So that Chevron, I keep saying Chevron there, Sammy, because you just brought that up. But that Palantir trade, like I said, it was a small trade because it's a high risk. You'd be really foolish to jump into something larger on that going into earnings, which you don't have any idea what's going to happen. So this one's still continuing to climb. We're up 24% on that trade right now if I refresh it. But look at this. Today's profit and loss on that one trade we just made, $219, and if we refresh that right now, we're up $235 on that trade, over a 24% gain on that Palantir, and it only moved a very little bit here. So that's what I mean about taking on smaller risk here, because if you take on smaller risk, that doesn't mean you're going to make smaller profits. I mean, if you had $970 here, this trade right here was 97 cents per contract. Remember, there's 100 shares per contract. So that means we have to multiply that by what? We have to multiply that by what? So we have to multiply that by 100. So that means it's $97 per contract. $97 per contract. We got 10 contracts. So 10 times 97 equals a $970 trade. It's now worth 1,210, and she's still climbing. We're up 25% on that trade right now, and she's still breaking higher. So that's what we're going to be looking for. I think Palantir might even get up to 24 by tomorrow if this move continues like this. So I definitely do like that trade. Apple's still continuing to climb. We'll be looking at that. But that's a really nice setup right there on Palantir. I'm trying to look, see if we see anything else moving. Apple's still moving pretty nicely. Palantir up 5.5% just about. Amazon, AMD's getting a nice little climb there. Look at how that one came down to that 10, and she's getting a nice pop there right now. Josh Ellsworth says Pfizer. Let's take a look at Pfizer. Pfizer and Moderna should start to get a nice pop there, Josh, because Fauci even came out and said that they're probably going to be passing the booster shot within the next couple of weeks. And if you guys take a look at the profits of Moderna, let's just take a look at, let me just see, Moderna Q2 profits. All right. So, Josh, you brought up a really great question, and this is something I like sharing with you guys. So, this is what's really important right here. Let me see if I could. I'm going to save this so I can make it bigger. And let me share this in the trade room with you guys here as well, because this is really important. Okay, so here's what I wanted to share with you. Let me zoom in here. Okay, if you guys could see this, 2021 revenue is expected to exceed $20 billion for 2021. Guess what? In 2020, they made $803 million. Revenue is being driven of $4.2 billion from the sale of just under 200 million doses of the company's vaccine. This time last year, Moderna was an exciting biotech with an innovative messenger RNA technology. But really, take a look at this, and I want you guys to understand this. Moderna here is expected to exceed profits, or revenue, I should say, of $20 billion. They didn't even make $1 billion last year. Now they're making over 23 times what they made last year. So 23 times growth is incredible for a biopharmaceutical company. So that is incredible there for Moderna. I mean, when you're making that type of profit and you're seeing that 2021 revenue expected to exceed $20 billion, they made $803 million in 2020. I mean, that's just insane. So, now here's what I want you guys to think about. Tyler, COVID's not going away. I don't know if you've been hearing about some of these epidemiologists here, but they're all saying that COVID is here to stay. It's going to be like a seasonal flu. I'm telling you guys right now, this is going to be around for a minimum of 3 to 5 years at least, because we're going to keep seeing variants of this virus, because every time you get a shot, guess what happens? It becomes resistance to that body that's rejecting from that vaccine. So what happens to that virus is it mutates. Some of those DNA, they change there, they mutate, and then it becomes either a stronger or more lethal variant, and that's what's going to happen. It's just like evolution. If something's getting blocked there and it can't happen, that virus tries to find a way to survive. It's just like a human being. A virus wants to survive. So it's going to do whatever it can, including, mutating its genes and causing a different variant, just like we saw in the Delta variant here. So that's what I'm expecting to continue to happen. A lot of the scientists are saying the same thing. So I think it's going to be around for a while. And trust me, what happens when we get the booster shot now? Because remember, guys, this is just from regular vaccines. So now if we get a booster shot, that's going to be a hell of a lot more than $20 billion. A booster shot might increase that by another $10 billion. So that's why we're seeing such a big climb here on a lot of these biopharmaceutical companies. So Josh was talking about Pfizer. So we saw Moderna having a nice run there. So now let's take a look at Pfizer. There's AMD getting a little pop there. Moderna stock, like I said, Moderna is breaking out to new all-time highs today. The stock's up nearly 9%, getting up to about $450 a share, and still continuing to break out. Pfizer, PFE, let's take a look at that. That one's starting to run here again too, Josh. That's not bad, because the nice thing about Pfizer is the options on it are so damn cheap. The stock's right around 45 right now. So if you wanted to pick up that August 20th Expo, 45.50, it's only going for about 64 cents. But this is what I want you to keep in mind. what's happening now to August 20th? Is anything happening? Let's take a look at the calendar first. Is there any type of earnings or anything coming up on Pfizer? So when we bring up this earnings calendar and we put in PFE, nothing coming up for August. There's no catalyst. There's nothing coming up. So that's clearly saying we do not want to go with that August 20th expo. You know, there's no catalyst to propel that higher. Now, here's the thing. If by December that has a booster shot for the Pfizer, guess what? That stock's going to freaking climb just like we saw Moderna. Because let me take a look at Pfizer now. Now, this is something else I want to show you now with Pfizer. Now, you just saw Moderna, right? So you guys saw that Moderna. That was Moderna right there, 20 billion, up from 803 million from last year, right? Now take a look at Pfizer. Pfizer Biotech. I'm going to share that with you guys in the trade room here. And now let me pull that up for you guys to see as well. Okay, so take a look at this. Now, Pfizer's not as big of a mover as Moderna, because Moderna was a pretty much new company, and they were doing some different types of things with messenger RNA. For those of you that are familiar with that, but they're expecting to generate revenue of $33.5 billion from the COVID vaccine sales in 2021. Up from previous estimates of 26 billion. Now, I want to show you guys what was Pfizer's revenue in 2020. Some reason it's not showing me. It's not bringing it up like the other ones are here. But I mean, that's a pretty big one. I mean, they're up. They upped the estimates from 26 billion to 33.5 billion. So I really think we're going to see Pfizer continue to take off there as well, especially if these booster shots come out. I mean, think about here in America alone, we had 200 million people get the vaccine. They're charging $40 a pop for that vaccine to the governments, and they just increased the prices on those. So think about what that's going to do over the course of the next few months here for some of these biopharmaceutical companies. All right, Karen, remember that BTBT? We closed that out for a really nice gain. That thing's still taking off there. I mean, look at that. I mean, I really think she got up to that $20. That was our original target, if you remember, $17.50 to $20. You remember that, Karen? Let me get it in the trade room there. Where's the trade room? Karen, do you remember what price did we get into that BTBT at? Do you remember? Financials are looking good. That's one of the top performing sectors there. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on that. We got into that BTBT. I'm not sure at what price. I forget. We've made a few trades since then. But that BTBT, I mean, that's still continuing to break out. It's pulling back from the highs a little bit right now on the day here. But I mean, that got right up to that $17.50 to $20 estimate we were talking about. It was a strong breakout. I mean, look at those green bars above the zero line on the histogram of the MACD, because the most important thing as a technical trader is looking at past and future and what we're expecting to do. We have to calculate that. So if you look back here when we had some of those big green bars above that zero line on the histogram of the MACD, like we saw right here, I mean, look at what that stock did during that time frame. It went from $5 all the way up to 30, in a very short period of time. So that's what made me end up jumping into that BTBT, because we were seeing huge 20, 30, 50% gains back here in the earlier times here when we got that 10-20 cross. So I jumped in, I think I closed that at around $15. I'm not sure. I think around $15 or $14, something like that. I closed it out on, made a really nice profit on it, but it continued to climb. It got right up to that R1, which was that $17.50, and then it got up to that R2 at $20. Now, if it continues to run, that next resistance will be at $30. But if you wanted to reach that $30, that's something I'd be going out 3 to 6 months at least. Till Expo there on BTBT. But that was definitely a good trade we made, and it's still continuing to climb there. Square pulling back a little bit from the highs, but still looking pretty good there. Baidu's getting a big climb today, holding above that 10. It just had that MACD cross. We might be looking at a Baidu trade sometime this week after those CPI numbers come out. We also have a lot of information coming out on China this week. So China's got their GDP numbers coming out, and that's going to be critically important to see where we are heading, because China's dealing with that Delta variant now as well. So keep an eye on that. Alrighty, guys. Now, what I wanted to do was show you guys those of you that are not members of us. I'm going to be ending this YouTube live and the streaming that we're doing right now. So if you guys want to come join Breaking Chart Alerts, make sure you guys come join us. I'm Dave Santarelli from Breaking Chart Alerts. And if you guys want to come join us at www.breakingchartalerts.com. And if you guys want to come join us, use promo code challenge to save 30% off your annual membership. And you guys could come join us in the trading room now. And there's a link in there for the live stream. So I hope everyone's having a really great day here today. And I hope to see you guys in the trade room here. Again, I'm Dave Santarelli from Breaking Chart Alerts. Hope you guys all have a great day, and I hope this helped you with your morning. Take care, guys, and have a good one.